In the previous episode, I sailed from Marillion Harbour to Cairns, and here I continue north to Cooktown in 3 long day sails, stopping overnight at Low and Hope Islands. I have voiced over several of the clips here as the wind noise was bad. I left Cairns this morning, Thursday the 1st of August. We have really nice trade winds behind us, blowing 15 to 20. We are just cruising along. Wind vane is steering us almost dead downwind. We're on a very broad starboard reach, and we are going to head. My objective was a set of very low islands, appropriately called the Low Isles, seen here on the right. And it was a cloudy, sort of rainy day in the morning, but it was still blowing hard, and with just the jib we were easily doing 5 to 7 knots, and by this time the sun had come out and it was a lovely day, and we made it through to the Low Islands in good shape. Here is our anchorage, as always, on the north side of the island and the satellite view of the Isles. This boat was already there, a Beneteau First 44 called Lady Quintessa, with David and Serena on board, who were my neighbors in Yorkeys Knob Marina and left the same day, like me, headed eventually to Darwin. Many anchorages have fish that will try to eat whatever is thrown overboard, and here it was a long white remora and a large batfish, of which there were quite a few in this anchorage. Alright, this is Cape Tribulation, where Cook named for the troubles that started after this. They came past here, probably similar conditions to what we have, southeast trades, and they hit a reef up ahead at night, now called Endeavour Reef, and then luckily didn't destroy the boat. Managed to refloat her and towed her by rowing with longboats all the way to Cooktown, another 30 miles north. The wind behind them, of course. But he named this Cape Tribulation. From Cairns north, I had strong trade winds almost every day and used only the jib, which is so easily furled and unfurled as conditions warrant. I was keeping the mainsail, which like the jib is original to the boat and in poor shape, under cover. The Hope Islands have east and west islands, and the anchorage is behind the east island. I'm arriving at the 2 Hope Islands. This one is mostly mangroves on the west side. This is the island that I will anchor behind on the east side. There's a couple of shrimp trawlers and one sailboat there, so it should be a worrying for me. These are the 2 islands that Cook was trying to avoid when he sailed over there and hit Endeavour Reef. Can't see it, of course, nor could he. The entrance to the anchorage was rather tricky with lots of coral around, but I managed to avoid it all and get onto anchor. And we're on the public mooring here at the eastern of the 2 Hope Islands. There's one over there, there's one over there. This beautiful boat in front of us, it's not actually on a mooring, it looks like it's anchored. It looks like a Herreshoff design, lovely sheer to it, classic lines. But it is blowing so hard, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get ashore here. I have to give it a go. I finally did get ashore with the help of another boat with a larger dinghy, and found a pair of white-bellied sea eagles nesting on the island. I was glad to have been on a mooring that night, as the wind blew very hard and regular squalls with heavy rain blew through, generating wraparound swell that had us rolling badly. By dawn, the wind had backed to the east and was now coming from the direction of the rising sun. Saturday, the 3rd of August, we're coming into Cooktown. This is Grassy Hill, whoa, where Cook tried to see a way out of the massive reefs and islands while they were repairing Endeavour up the river here. They careened her on a sandbank around the corner. It's a wild 20-mile sail coming in here, and we're on bare poles and doing 5 knots coming in here. It must be blowing 25. We came from Hope Island over there after a wild and crazy night on a mooring. It's very squally, very windy, very wet. But it's a gorgeous day today in Cooktown. I'm going to have a nice visit here. This is the Endeavour River here at Cooktown. When I came in this morning, I ran aground on the sandbar just past that yellow bar, the yellow marker there. It was on the wrong side of it, left side. It's a big anchorage over here I could have gone to, but a local guy said, why don't you just come down here? There's a place open at the dock, and so there's sea change on the dock. I checked with the owner and he said, yeah, you're fine. The site on the south bank where Cook careened Endeavour is marked with this plinth and a poster. Here is Cook's chart of what he called the Endeavour River, and I ran aground on the sandbar directly opposite this site. I enjoyed Cooktown a lot, and here is a small sample of the things to see, starting with Cook's statue. The main attraction was the Cooktown Museum, in an ornate building that once housed a convent and school. They had a complete timeline of the Endeavour, from running up on the reef and getting off by ditching all ballast and cannons and kedging free with anchors, to accounts of their arrival at the Endeavour River, and then leaving a little over 2 weeks later. They even had an anchor and cannon that Cook left behind. The museum had many other features. One that fascinated me was the extraordinary diversity of Aboriginal groups and their names, and presumably dialects, given approximately 60,000 years on this continent before Cook arrived. I hiked up Grassy Hill, from which Cook plotted their course north to Lizard Island, to which they and I next sailed, both on the 4th of August. Back at the dock, I had an interesting neighbor, a small, very exposed sea-wind catamaran called Stalker, with John on board, who was sailing her loaded with household goods to his new home in Indonesia. After a calm, quiet night on the dock, in the next episode I sailed to Lizard Island with a stop at Cape Flattery Bay.